A voice echoed through the raging fire. Heck be you, wake up. You can't die. Heck be you lay in the flames, completely motionless. The voice screamed again. Heck be you. Heck be you's eyes flew open. Her pupils contracted in fear. A blue screen unfolded before her eyes. Time regression program installation complete. Heck be you looked around. The wooden lecture hall was packed with students. What is this? Her gaze swept across one young face after another. This is a university. Why am I here? I was obviously dead. Memories came flooding back. After CE Media celebration banquet, I got in the car my uncle had arranged for me. I thought the hard times were finally over. I thought my mother and I could finally live happily. But that car drove straight into hell. Jichuan Group, one of the country's 3 great giants, a vast empire spanning multiple industries. And CE Media, the nation's largest entertainment agency, was one of its subsidiaries. I am Heck be you. I lost my father when I was young and lived alone with my mother. In my memories, that little girl clung tightly to her mother, her figure thin and fragile. The year I graduated from university, I learned that my parents had only been in a contractual marriage. That was also when I found out I had a grandfather and an uncle. After that, I joined Z Media, a subsidiary of Jichuan Group. A few years later, my hard work finally paid off. The program I produced was a huge success, and I kept rising through the ranks. I eventually became the president of C Media. But in the end, I still fell into my Uncle Henry Austin's trap. He was the designated heir of Jichuan Group. Mom. She shook her mother's body desperately. Mom, get up. We have to get out of here. Her mother didn't move. Heck be you cried out. Mom, answer me. A pair of leather shoes stepped into the ruins. A voice came from above. Enough. She's already dead. Heck be you's pupils shook. Why? Henry Austin bent down and whispered, "This is your punishment." Heck be you's eyes burned with hatred. She roared and reached out. "I'm going to kill you." Henry Austin looked down at her coldly. What a rude woman. He adjusted his tie with contempt. Didn't your mother teach you any manners? Looks like I'll have to discipline you myself. My uncle's jealousy of me had grown day by day. A leather shoe crushed Heck be you's hand. Her bones cracked. Ugh, pain spread through the darkness. Henry Austin's voice pierced her ears. What did you say? Henry Austin raised his phone and showed it off like a trophy. For the next 10 years, they'll all be working for me. If they break the contract, they'll have to pay astronomical penalties. Tears ran down Heck be you's dust-covered face. Images flashed by. Those artists trapped by contracts, burning out their talent in front of the camera. He had stolen everything I spent years building. Henry Austin's voice echoed in her mind. You'd help me make money, but now you're just a threat, especially at a time like this. Henry Austin's voice dripped with contempt. Did you really think a mere woman could stand on equal footing with me? Above the ruins, Henry Austin and his subordinates looked down coldly. Is this how my life ends? The flames reflected her tear-streaked face. Death descended. A voice cried out, "Wake up." Her pupils contracted sharply. Heck be you gasped. Less than 3 years. 10 million followers. Besides, in this era, short videos and live streaming are still just beginning. A light flashed in her eyes. That's it. I know every trend from the next 7 years. At this point in time, Mom is still alive. The people who trusted me haven't been exploited by Henry Austin yet. Memories of becoming president flashed by, along with her mother's smile and the smiles of her companions. This time, I absolutely won't lose you again. I am my mother's pride and hope. The me of today is stronger. I've returned with all my experience and knowledge. I will definitely reach 10 million followers. Resolve ignited in Heck be you's eyes. This time, can I protect them? Heck be you covered her mouth and forced herself to calm down. Pull yourself together. Right now, while that man is still consolidating his position in the industry, I will never let my uncle steal anything from me again. I will tear off his hypocritical mask with my own hands and make him pay in blood. Her thoughts settled in the darkness. A voice pulled her back to reality. Miss Heck be you. Heck be you suddenly shot to her feet and faced the podium. Professor Jarrell glared at her angrily. He suddenly stood up and shouted, "What exactly are you trying to do?" Jarrell narrowed his eyes behind his glasses. The department head and the other professors are all here. What do you think you're doing? He demanded sharply. Do you have a problem with my point of view? Heck Bayou stood straight. Unlike in her previous life, she did not shrink back. Calmly meeting his gaze, she said, "I understand your opinion, Professor, but I can't completely agree with that assessment." In her heart, she asked System, "What happens if I reach the goal?" Blue words appeared on the screen. At that time, we will grant your wish. Do you have a better idea? Then, Jarrell, a lecturer in the media department, firmly believed that only expensive equipment and professional filming techniques could produce good work. He was undeniably gifted in filming and editing. K Academy was an elite school with frighteningly expensive tuition. Naturally, Professor Jarrell looked down on students without financial means, and I was the only poor student at K Academy. A faint smile curved Shulio's lips. In that case, why don't we hear what our scholarship student has to say? His eyes were full of disdain. Maybe she really does have some brilliant idea. Shulio came from a wealthy family and had received an elite education. He fit perfectly with what Professor Jarrell liked, just like most people here. He looked down on poor people. Another male student mocked her. You're just a transfer student. What nonsense are you talking about? You're already here on a scholarship. Do you still want more from this castle? He kept pressing. How did someone like you even get in here? K Academy's prestige was an established fact. Ever since the era of traditional media, its media department had ranked among the very best in the world. Newspapers, magazines, film reels, an age of gold created by elites and connections. K Academy had once believed that glory would last forever, until one hand lifted a smartphone. With the rise of the internet, entirely new forms of content began to emerge. Tragically, K Academy stubbornly refused to change. It had once been a media giant. Now it had become a relic of the old era. Standing before the phantom of a collapsing academy, Hekbiyu's eyes were filled with resolve. This scene is exactly the same as my last life. Professor Jarrell will continue teaching as usual, and Shulio will use this chance to humiliate me. On the podium, Jarrell barked, "Quiet." He swept his eyes across the room. If no one has anything to say, then we'll continue class. His voice was firm. Only top-tier cameras can produce the best work. Hekbiyu lowered her eyes. If I sit down now, I'll just be swallowed by this tide. Her gaze turned toward Jarrell. I can't let that happen. That person is watching this class too. I have to seize this chance. She suddenly looked up. Professor, I have an idea. Hekbiyu stood. Every eye in the room turned to her. Shulio laughed in disbelief. Are you serious? The students around him joined in. Couldn't you tell Shulio was making fun of you? Another male student piled on. It's not like you can come up with anything good anyway. Jarrell stood with his back to the crowd and let out a cold snort. Is that so? He lifted his chin contemptuously, his eyes full of challenge. Then let's hear it. This great opinion of yours. Meeting his provocative gaze, Hekbiyu asked, where is K Academy's promotional video currently being posted? Jarrell looked as if the answer were obvious. On the Academy's official website, of course. We don't need to advertise everywhere like other schools do. Jarrell folded his arms. His posture was arrogant. Then his eyes shifted. If we really did that, Jarrell firmly believed in his heart that doing so would damage the Academy's dignity. Hekbiyu looked out at the campus. She saw it clearly. Most of the professors here clung to outdated ideas. In her memory, that beautiful campus would one day become ruins. The signs of decline had appeared long ago. Her previous life was full of painful memories. Hekbiyu's eyes darkened, but watching a place full of geniuses fall like this was truly a pity. She turned to Jarrell. Professor Jarrell, you're the one who films and uploads videos to the website every year, right? Hekbiyu continued without pause. Then you must have noticed that the view count hasn't been increasing, right? Before she could even finish, Jarrell's expression froze. What? No one watches them? A female student immediately spoke up in his defense. But your videos are obviously excellent, Professor. Shulio raised one finger disdainfully. You counts? He let out a shrill laugh. Do you really think K Academy cares about something like that? Someone at your level would never understand. Another male student quickly shouted in agreement. K Academy doesn't need to cater to anyone. Jarrell's gaze sharpened. Hekbiyu, what exactly are you trying to say? His talent was beyond question. Filming, editing, he excelled at all of it. But K Academy's decline had buried that talent with it, and no one knew. Hekbiyu looked sincere. I only hope that, because your videos are so good, more people can see them. Jarrell froze. The eyes behind his lenses widened slightly. Is she saying this for my sake? His tone softened. Then do you have a better idea? The opportunity had come. A sharp light flashed in Hekbiyu's eyes. She braced both hands on the desk and leaned forward slightly. Live streaming. Jarrell looked stunned. Live streaming? Shulio shot her a scornful look. Has she gone crazy? Shulio gave a cold laugh. You expect the Academy to promote itself in such a cheap way? As the entire room questioned her, Hekbiyu simply stood there. Her eyes blazed. Yes, live streaming. 7 years ago, traditional distribution formats were still the mainstream. The concept of live streaming had not yet become widespread. Full of confidence, Hekbiyu proposed, try it with the Academy's official account. There will definitely be a lot of viewers. Jarell looked hesitant. At that, Shulio's anger instantly flared. Shulio suddenly stood up. Are you messing with us? He glared at Hekbiyu. You're just a transfer student. Don't get so full of yourself. If you really want to do that, then use your own account. Don't use the Academy's. Hekbiyu suddenly remembered that this class was supposed to be Shulio's video presentation. In her previous life, Shulio had won thunderous applause with his expensive equipment and professional support. Facing Shulio's phantom, Hekbiyu's expression was complicated, but if he was willing to give up this chance, Hekbiyu accepted at once. Gladly, she turned and walked toward the podium. Fine, I'll try it with my own account. Hekbiyu took out her phone. But my account is new, so it may take a little time. No matter what, this would be K Academy's first live stream. It was impossible for it not to draw attention. Suddenly, her phone screen lit up. A blue effect appeared. First live stream reward. Push notification promotion. This is the system's reward? Hekbiyu's pupils tightened slightly. A virtual interface unfolded before her eyes. First live stream detected. Let's attract more viewers. Use this reward. Hekbiyu's live stream appeared on a large screen behind the podium. A student cried out, "Look, there are more and more viewers." Standing behind the podium, Hekbiyu only had to wait for the viewer count to rise. Shulio and Jarell both looked shocked. Shulio demanded loudly, "What did you say?" The viewer count jumped wildly. 220, 579, 999. The numbers were rising far faster than expected. Thanks to the system, everything was under control. The rest is up to me now. Hekbiyu confidently raised her phone and set on the podium. Facing the camera calmly, she said, "Hello, everyone. I'm Hekbiyu, a student at K Academy." The comments immediately exploded. K Academy? They're actually live streaming a class? That's insane. One comment declared the arrival of a new era. This is the moment history changes. The viewer count in the live stream room shot upward like crazy. Hekbiyu appeared on the big screen at the front of the room, smiling into the camera. That's all for today's live stream. On K Academy's official website, you'll find wonderful promotional videos filmed by Professor Jarell from the media department. Those videos will help everyone understand the Academy better. Please be sure to take a look. Behind his glasses, Jarell's eyes were filled with emotion. Hekbiyu bowed slightly. Thank you all for watching. Her phone screen showed that the live stream had ended. Total viewers, 5,000. New followers, 552. The students murmured among themselves. That live stream was actually pretty good. I almost wanted to follow her. Another person immediately retorted, "Don't be fooled by tricks like that." Hekbiyu walked down from the podium. A male professor watched her back. "That girl is interesting." The bespectacled female professor beside him nodded. A truly memorable performance. That female professor was none other than Liv, head of the media department. The students whispered in surprise. Professor Liv actually praised someone? That's rare. Shulio's face twisted with rage. He shrieked, "A poor person like you is fit to promote K Academy?" He glared down at Hekbiyu, but as she met his gaze, he thought, "This woman is even more troublesome than in my last life." The media department of K Academy was the Academy's golden trademark since its founding. The school had top-tier faculty and incomparable facilities. But few people knew that most of those facilities had been provided by Moriyaka Group. The chairman of Moriyaka Group was one of K Academy's 3 major shareholders. Without him, K Academy would never have prospered as it had today. Moriyaka Group was not inherited wealth. Its chairman had founded it with his own 2 hands, starting from poverty. Because of that, Chairman Moriyaka deeply despised those who abused power and squander privilege. Shulio glared at Hekbiyu. "A shabby nobody like you thinks you could be the face of K Academy?" Shulio's words landed precisely on Chairman Moriyaka's sore spot. Hekbiyu lowered her eyes. How dare he? Her fists clenched at her sides. "I have to say something." Then a sharp voice rang out. "Student Shulio." Enough. Jarell stepped between the two of them. Hekbiyu's heart stirred. "Professor Jarell." He turned to Shulio. "This was indeed a first attempt, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing." Jarell turned to the entire classroom. "Sorry for disrupting class." His gaze swept across all the students. Liv spoke up. "Ms. Hekbiyu, please come to the faculty office." She turned her face slightly. "Is it because of that?" Hekbiyu stood up. "Yes. A female student waved goodbye. Okay, see you later, heck be you. The students began whispering. Is she going to be punished? It's different from K Academy's usual style, but still. Shulio crossed his arms. Just another desperate stunt from a poor person. He stared at Heck Biyu's back. I can't wait to see what punishment she gets. Shulio muttered scornfully, learn your place. His eyes grew sharp. Are you mocking him? Chairman Moriaka will definitely punish you. 2 days earlier, a man in a suit handed over a file. Please take care of this matter. Chairman Moriaka opened it. This is the proposal for Z Media's campus influencer selection contest. The principal said a newly established agency. Why would they hold this kind of competition? Sitting down on the sofa, he continued, it's out of respect for Mr. Henry Austin. He owes me a great favor from the past. Even so, a self-satisfied smile touched his lips. The principal's voice continued. I don't think our students will be interested. Chairman Moriaka's eyes sharpened. No, he smiled faintly. This will be a very interesting competition. The principal looked stunned. What did you say? Chairman Moriaka held up the proposal. If K Academy isn't afraid of change, then it shouldn't let other schools catch up. Wouldn't you agree? The principal's face darkened. This woman, he flew into a rage. K Academy could never lose to other schools. Other schools can't even afford cameras. Why do you have to compare us to them? Chairman Moriaka slowly stood, cutting off his shouting. Calmly, he declared, I will take full charge of selecting the participants for this contest. The principal was left speechless. Chairman Moriaka issued his final order. Then I'll take my leave. Left alone in the principal's office, he fell into deep thought. Chairman Moriaka pushed a document across the desk. Proposal for C Media's campus influencer selection contest. Please take a look. Across from him sat Heck Biyu. This is it. I have to seize this opportunity. Heck Biyu lifted her head, a barely noticeable smile in her eyes. In my previous life, almost everyone at K Academy looked down on this competition. It was trampled under contempt. Even students who were interested ended up backing out because they cared too much about what others thought. As a result, not a single K Academy student participated. But the competition was a huge success. The winners raised their trophies high and became famous overnight. Their schools even surpassed K Academy because of it. The contestants held glowing phones in their hands. The reason I value this competition so much is because the numbers all skyrocketed. The top-ranked contestants' followers exploded. Even the 11th place contestant broke 600,000. The organizer of this competition is my uncle. I have every reason to enter. The shadow of Henry Austin appeared before her. The champion of this contest will undoubtedly be a formidable opponent. But this time I'll strike first. Heck Biyu's gaze burned with resolve. Chairman Moriaka looked at her. Are you interested? Heck Biyu smiled confidently. Yes, of course. Chairman Moriaka's eyes sharpened. So you really are different from the other students. You mentioned your scholarship just now, didn't you? Heck Biyu lowered her head. Yes, after my father died in a fire, my mother survived by running a tailoring shop. Chairman Moriaka's expression shifted. Knowing full well how expensive K Academy's tuition is, your life must be very difficult. But then Heck Biyu changed the subject. Still, selecting a student representative based on just one live stream isn't enough. She straightened her back. So this is it. Chairman Moriaka praised her inwardly. Her insight is sharp too. So I wanted to take a test. Chairman Moriaka continued. Each academy only has 5 slots. Heck Biyu listened intently. Folding his hands on the desk, Chairman Moriaka said, if you can gain 10,000 followers in half a month, I'll let you enter the competition. He looked down at the file on the desk. I see. So this was the scholarship test in my previous life. A test no one passed. 10,000 followers in half a month. It was undoubtedly a difficult challenge. Chairman Moriaka stared at her. Well, is it too hard? Heck Biyu lowered her eyes, the corners of her lips lifting slightly. Then she suddenly looked up, raising 3 fingers. Heck Biyu said decisively, 3 days is enough. Heck Biyu stood in the entryway, about to leave. I'm heading out first. A virtual panel appeared before her eyes. Current followers, 552. Goal, 10 million. Countdown, 999 days. Heck Biyu's pupils tightened. A new message popped up on the screen. Congratulations on surpassing 500 followers. Reward obtained. Reward. She turned her face and looked at the pop-up window. Ultimate reward can now awaken. The screen displayed the reward details. It will activate automatically during your next live stream. Grants temporary awakening of talent for any chosen content. Duration, 1 hour. Hekbiyu stared at the screen. What does that mean? The system continued explaining. Special skills, such as singing and dancing used during the live stream, will be raised to their limit. The number of viewers will also surge accordingly. The screen switched. Singing ability, current level 2. Estimated simultaneous viewers, first tier level. A light flashed in Hekbiyu's eyes. Wait. So that means if I use this reward, my skills will be maxed out, and the viewer count will also explode? The system panel responded. Correct. This effect will last for 1 hour. A slight smile curved Hekbiyu's lips. This is exactly what I need for my plan. The system panel produced a new mission. Gain 10,000 followers within 3 days. Hekbiyu's pupil shrank. What? A red warning flashed. The system issued an alert. If the mission fails, punishment will be administered. As punishment, you will experience 3 seconds of the sensation of burning to death. Hekbiyu dropped to the ground on both hands. Her fingertips began to tremble. Hekbiyu's face turned deathly pale. Again? I have to go through that again. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. Agonizing pain tore through her entire body. Hekbiyu curled up on the steps and was swallowed by darkness for an instant. Sweat in her palms soaked her phone, and her knuckles turned white from gripping it. The sound of her breathing suddenly grew louder in her ears. Her trembling lips swallowed the cry in her throat. Hekbiyu's eyes hardened. No matter what, I will never go through that again. No matter what, I have to complete the mission. A hand reached out to her. Emperor's voice came from above. Are you okay? Hekbiyu looked up. It was him. Emperor stood below the stairs, looking up at her. Can you stand? Emperor's face filled her vision. His outstretched hand stopped in midair. His gaze was sharp. Hekbiyu abruptly stood up. Why are you here? In my previous life, was he at school at this time too? Emperor frowned slightly. Do you know me? Damn, I let it slip. Hekbiyu faltered. She looked away. I think I mistook you for someone else. Emperor looked at her quietly, his profile sharply defined. Looking at him, Hekbiyu said, Anyway, I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. She turned away. I'll go first. Emperor called after her. Hey. His gaze followed Hekbiyu, and her heart jolted. Why is he here? She hurried down the stairs. Is he here to see Manager Moriaka? Hekbiyu stopped walking. Her eyes turned resolute. Forget it. I don't have time to worry about that. Finishing the mission is the top priority. She pulled out her phone. Her fingertips slid across the screen and pressed the call button. Hekbiyu held the phone to her ear. Her heart pounded like a drum. A voice came from the other side. Hello, what's wrong? Hekbiyu froze instantly. Her lips trembled. Mom. Memories of the blazing ruins flooded back. She had collapsed beneath the wreckage, and yet she could hear her mother's voice again. On the phone, her mother asked anxiously, Are you crying? What happened? Tears slipped down silently. Hekbiyu gripped the phone tightly. This time, I will definitely complete the mission and save you. Hekbiyu took a deep breath. No, actually, Mom, there's something I want to ask you to help me with. Hekbiyu stepped forward. In this life, I will never repeat the same mistakes. Memories. Noise rang in her ears. Hekbiyu, that scholarship kid from a poor family, she's next? She really lowers the class of the party. Is she going to perform cleaning? In my previous life, I earned my tuition by cleaning the school. I had only been called there to clean. I had never signed up for any competition. Hekbiyu stood alone under the spotlight, looking around blankly. What the hell is going on? Her pupils suddenly shrank. Could it be? On the stage below, Shulio sneered. He had pushed me onto the stage without my knowing. Boos rose from the crowd. Hey, start already. If you're not performing, then get off. Maybe she's going to perform cleaning. Gripping the microphone stand, Hekbiyu said, I didn't sign up. I can't waste everyone's time. Behind her, Shulio smiled contemptuously. The real show is just beginning. Just as Hekbiyu took a step forward, a foot silently stretched out. It was Shulio. He tripped me in front of everyone and made me lose all face. Shulio and his companions snickered below the stage, enjoying what they had done. Hekbiyu lay on the floor. Shulio looked down at her from above with a sneer. What a joke. In the end, Shulio took the stage after me and won first place. I became a stepping stone for Shulio's victory. Hekbiyu stood outside the dance studio holding a mop. But from that day on, Shulio's bullying truly began. At that party in my previous life, the favorite to win had been beyond compare. Brina fell to his knees as ice water poured down over his head. He had originally been a dance genius. Droplets ran down from his hair, and his eyes were full of terror. Before the party started, Shulio's accomplices dragged Brina into the restroom. A broken sign hung on the door. Brina questioned them angrily. You, Shulio, One student looked down at him. I'm not trying to make things hard for you, but you're too much of an eyesore. He pinned Brina's shoulders down hard. If Shilio doesn't get first place, he'll go crazy. Brina lifted his head, fury burning in his eyes. So that's why you, a female student, cut him off sharply. Shut up. Another female student raised a basin of water. You'd better just disappear quietly. Brina's pupils tightened suddenly. Splash. Water came crashing down over his head. A scream tore through the silence. This is on Shilio's orders. Brina's performance outfit was completely soaked. The female student looked down at everything and declared to the Brina on the floor, "Don't even think about going on stage." The door was locked. Brina was left alone in the darkness, collapsed in a pool of icy water. In the end, Brina never got to perform. Shilio won. The door opened gently. Brina asked softly, "Heck be you, are you live streaming again today?" Not far away, Heck BU was setting up live stream equipment. She was wearing an apron and holding a mop. So Shilio and the others had come here too. A group of trainees quickly crowded around. One of them pointed at Heck BU's face and mocked her. After what happened with Shilio, you still have the nerve to show up. Someone in the crowd snickered. Look at what she's wearing. Brina looked worried. This is bad. Heck BU is going to get dragged into this. Shilio stepped out from the crowd and swept a cold glance over her. If she goes on stage dressed like that, don't you think it'd be hilarious? Heck BU walked up to Shilio, her gaze sharp. Don't tell me you used my name to sign up for tomorrow's party? Shilio looked straight at her. I did. He smiled disdainfully. A rare specimen like you really ought to be shown to everyone. He looked down at Heck BU. Don't get me wrong. You don't mind, right? Holding him up, Heck BU's lips curved slightly. Actually, I'm very grateful. If he hadn't done this, I wouldn't be able to keep that promise I made to Director Liv. What? Are you crazy? Shilio charged forward and grabbed Heck BU by the arm. There's no point in winning with such dirty tactics. Heck BU stepped closer, the tip of her shoe nearly touching his. Beside them, Brina inhaled sharply. Heck BU met Shilio's eyes, her gaze cold and unshakable. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to crush you completely. Shilio clenched his teeth. That woman, with one violent swing of his arm, he knocked a glass off the table. It smashed against the ground and shattered. Rage burned in Shilio's eyes. He stared at his phone screen. In the group chat was a screenshot from Heck BU's live stream. She actually dared to toy with me. It pisses me off. A new message popped up on the screen. Tomorrow, lock Brina in the bathroom as planned. Shilio tightened his grip on the phone, his face set. No matter what, tomorrow. Fighting spirit blazed in his eyes. I have to win. Night fell. A cry of surprise came from inside K Academy's building. What? What's going on? In his office, Jarrell was on the phone. He stared at the computer screen, his face stunned. These comments, they're for me? Heck BU's name glowed on the phone screen. The voice on the other end replied, yes. Professor Jarrell, the comments are moving so fast. I want to go to K Academy. Jarrell was overwhelmed with emotion. For the first time, he had received so much praise. Jarrell covered his mouth with his hand. Tears of joy welled in his eyes. I'm so happy. He thanked her excitedly. Thank you. Really thank, but on the other end of the line, Heck BU said, actually, I have a favor to ask. Jarrell asked seriously, what is it? He stood up. His expression was focused. Heck BU ended the call. Okay, got it. Then see you tomorrow. She put down her phone. There shouldn't be any problem on Professor Jarrell's side. Heck BU's mother held up a new outfit. Look, isn't it wonderful? Heck BU's eyes lit up. It's amazing. Perfect. Yes, that's the smile. The smile I want to protect. She took the new clothes. Mom, I love you. Her mother smiled and wagged a finger. I love you too, but don't waste money. Her mother pulled Heck BU into an embrace. I will always love you. Heck BU hugged her back tightly. I will never let anyone hurt you again. Meanwhile, at Z Media headquarters, beneath the giant Z-shaped logo, overlooking the city, there was a knock at the office door. Henry Austin looked up and accepted a white envelope. CEO's office. A voice came from inside. Kumin. A man entered the office and stopped in front of the desk. President Henry Austin, you were looking for me? Sitting behind the desk with his hands clasped, Henry Austin said, you're in charge of the campus influencer selection contest, right? The man gave a slight nod. Yes. Henry Austin nodded. Good. He pushed a photograph toward the man. Be especially careful about this woman. In the photo was Heck BU. Emperor raised his eyes, his gaze sharp. Understood. His name was Emperor. At K Academy's party venue, under the spotlight, one figure alone commanded the stage. Shilio basked in the light, confidently extending an arm as his eyes swept over the audience. A female spectator whispered, Brina didn't come. Shilio is definitely going to win. His dancing is so good. No wonder Heck BU didn't dare go first. Everyone says Brina is amazing, but Shilio isn't inferior either. Shilio tapped his temple lightly and smiled. It's unexpected that Hekbiyu isn't here, but that's fine. As long as Brina isn't here either, first place is mine. Then a burst of blinding light exploded from the side of the stage. Shilio turned sharply toward the source. A voice rang out. Next, the female host held a microphone, her voice resounding through the venue. And now, the final group. Please welcome them with a warm round of applause. Shilio frowned. Wasn't I the last one? A cold smile tugged at his lips. By now, Brina should be drenched in the bathroom. No matter who the last act is, the winner will be me. From the side of the stage, bright light flared. Two figures stepped into it. Someone in the audience shouted, "It's Brina and Hekbiyu." Shilio's pupils shrank. What is going on? That's impossible. On stage, Hekbiyu stared straight ahead with unwavering eyes. Shilio clenched both fists. Why are they on stage? Could it be a memory flashback? A message popped up on a phone chat screen. Relax. I won't let Brina give you any trouble. Shilio's icon immediately followed. What happened? Answer me. You couldn't even keep one Brina trapped? The bathroom door had been locked from the outside. A broken sign hung on it. Two female students pounded on the door in despair. Is anyone there? Let us out. The stage lights shone brilliantly. Brina turned to Hekbiyu. Thank you for saving me. But can we really dance together? Hekbiyu's gaze was steady. Of course we can. The spotlight dropped suddenly as the two struck their opening poses. Hekbiyu raised one arm high, while Brina bent one knee into a half-crouch. Their movements were perfectly synchronized. In the audience, a long-haired female spectator watched the stage quietly. Hekbiyu turned her face slightly. Her gaze shifted beyond the stage. Can you help me live stream this? Please, live stream my stage performance tomorrow. Jarrell, holding up his phone, replied, okay. Understood. As he filmed the stage, shock filled his eyes. His phone screen showed that the live stream had begun. The stage lights focused in. Hekbiyu's eyes were resolute. System, activate dance skill enhancement. A virtual interface unfolded before her eyes. Live stream detected. Enhancement will activate in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Brina frowned. Hekbiyu, are you planning to just phone it in? Hekbiyu slowly raised her arm. A confident smile appeared. Absolutely not. Trust me. Light burst from around her body. The stage transformed into a blooming field of flowers. From the stage, Brina looked at her in awe. That figure was dazzling. Hekbiyu sank into memory. We danced together hundreds of times. In my previous life, Brina became the #1 top idol in the country by follower count. On stage, he captivated everyone. His dancing radiated pure charm. The memory returned to that first meeting. Brina became the first person Hekbiyu ever signed. Sitting across from her, he said, I just want more people to see my dancing. More precisely, he had contacted me first. Hekbiyu opened the letter he had brought. I see. That letter was from children in a remote area. They all long for dance. Looking out the window, Brina said, a lot of people can't easily see live performances. He turned back, his eyes earnest. But I think if it's through videos or live streams, the children would still be able to watch. Lost in memory, Hekbiyu thought. From that moment on, I deeply respected Brina. She smiled and promised, leave it to me. Brina's success didn't come from kindness alone. It came from his respect for both dance and the audience. Under the spotlight, Hekbiyu and Brina danced together, their figures weaving past each other. Every step was precise, perfectly synchronized. Brina was stunned inside. What is this? This is our first time on stage together. Hekbiyu confidently held out her hand. Her smile was dazzling. Brina took that hand. For some reason, it feels like we fit together perfectly. Brina's eyes were full of astonishment. He marveled inwardly. After all that practice, your progress is incredible. Brina held a coffee cup, smiling warmly. In my previous life, we were colleagues and also close friends. Hekbiyu turned and called to him. Brina. Brina turned back. HM? Hekbiyu asked expectantly, when can we go on stage together? Then she hesitated a little. Maybe at the year-end party? But my dancing is so much worse than yours. I'm afraid I'll hold you back. Brina smiled and shook his head. Not all. Let's dance together. Their little dance studio had been their secret base, a place to breathe between work. They had once walked hand in hand through flowers and butterfly shadows. But in the end, that shared performance never happened in my previous life. My life was taken before that could happen. As the spotlight returned to the present, Hekbiyu lightly touched her lips with one finger. I told you, didn't I? Everything will be fine. Brina gave a playful wink. He flashed a victory sign. The stage blazed with light as their figures intertwined within it. The audience below boiled over with excitement. Gasps of amazement rose one after another. They're beautiful, someone whispered in the crowd. They should just debut as a duo. Chairman Moriaka stared at the stage. Hekbiyu can dance this well? His expression shifted. Could it be? When she said she'd reach the goal in 3 days, this is what she meant. She had planned this from the very beginning. On the phone screen, Hekbiyu smiled in the live stream, calm and confident. Chairman Moriaka stared at the screen. If it's this child, then perhaps she really can change. K Academy. Hekbiyu and Brina struck their ending pose for the audience. Skill enhancement activated. Current attention is skyrocketing. Watching the dance steps on stage, Hekbiyu thought the skill enhancement really did ignite the atmosphere. A smile rose at the corners of her lips. Performing like this now feels effortless. Her white boots tapped lightly against the floor. The rhythm was perfect. Jarrell filmed with his phone and grinned. Perfect. Hekbiyu looked toward Jarrell. I knew I could leave the camera work to him. Her gaze was steady. Everything is going according to plan. Under the spotlight, Hekbiyu and Brina froze at center stage. The audience below looked up. A female spectator murmured softly. Their movements are completely synchronized. The audience whispered among themselves. They're even better than Shulio. First place has to be theirs. Shoo! Someone motioned for silence. In the crowd, Shulio's face darkened. He stared fixedly at the stage, his lips pressed into a thin line. Julie's gaze was sharp as a blade. Tonight, Shulio wasn't just going to lose the championship. Julie's eyes were resolute. I'm going to take back the honor that should have belonged to Brina. The stage lights focused in, and thunderous cheers erupted. Perfect, Julie, Brina. Julie and Brina exchanged a smile, the atmosphere warm and electric. Julie's smile vanished, her eyes turning icy. You'll pay for what you did. System, amplify that video for the whole venue. An electronic prompt sounded. Information flashed through the air. The audience burst into an uproar, everyone lowering their heads to check their phones. I got anonymous video. What is this? Phone screens lit up. In the video, a woman confessed, Shulio told me where Brina was. During the break, he said Brina wasn't allowed to go on stage. The audience looked at each other. So that's what happened. One spectator held up a phone. Shulio is disgusting, but it looks like his little scheme backfired. Julie looked down over the entire venue. He deserves it. The scandal was exposed in front of everyone. How does it feel? Shulio's face turned deathly pale. And no, that's not it. Julie did this. Shulio's hands trembled as he gripped his phone, cold sweat sliding down his cheek. Julie watched him coldly. Does it hurt? Does it feel awful? This is only a reflection of the evil you inflicted on others. Nothing more than seeing yourself for what you are. My revenge, Julie's eyes flashed, has only just begun. The spotlight went out. Julie and Brina stood side by side as a virtual screen unfolded before them, calculating the new followers gained from the live stream. The numbers on the screen jumped rapidly, finally stopping at new followers 10,012. Julie looked at the total on the screen, 10,564. I broke 10,000. Julie stepped onto a symbolic stair. 10,000 followers. For a rookie streamer, that was a huge step forward. Once I pass 10,000 followers, I'll be certified as an official streamer. From now on, I can earn even more rewards from streaming. Brina pointed toward Shulio. Hey, look over there. Julie turned at his voice. Shulio was surrounded by his own fans. One fan pointed at his nose. How embarrassing. Another looked deeply disappointed. I never thought you were this kind of person. Shulio kept shaking his head. And no, that's not it. You've got it all wrong. He waved his hands frantically, trying to regain control, but the words caught in his throat. Cold sweat appeared quietly at his temples as his eyes darted uncertainly across the crowd. Shulio looked panicked. They're lying. One fan muttered, just to win, he'd stoop that low. That's terrifying. Another added, Brina and Julie are the real winners. Shulio flew into a rage. What did you say? Say that to my face one more time. Shulio raised his hand high. Do you even know who you're talking to? Suddenly, a hand grabbed Shulio's wrist. It stopped him. Chairman Moriaka glared at him. First you framed someone, and now you're going to hit people too? Shulio stared at the hand gripping him. It's not like that. Chairman Moriaka did not back down. After all the bad things you've done, you still want to hit someone? You've gone too far. Come with me. Shulio panicked. And no, you misunderstand. A strange man looked at him with contempt. He's definitely getting suspended. Another stranger chimed in, pathetic. Julie stood alone under the stage spotlight, looking down at the farce. This is your own doing. Julie's eyes suddenly narrowed. Wait, that person, there was a man standing on the steps. Julie recognized him. Emperor was talking on the phone, his profile stern. Into the phone, Emperor said, understood, President Austin. Julie's heart jolted. That's my uncle's subordinate, the one I saw at the academy. Emperor, could it be that from that moment on, Uncle had already been planning his grand scheme? Julie's gaze hardened. But I don't care what he's plotting. Julie stepped onto shattered glass, a symbol of the old world collapsing. I'll smash it to pieces. A system prompt sounded. Mission complete. Penalty lifted. A system panel appeared. Ultimate follower target achieved. Uploading system reward. 1 week later, sunlight spilled across the Academy's grand buildings. Chairman Moriaka stood at the podium looking down at the students seated in the tiered classroom. He cleared his throat. The reason I called everyone here today is... Chairman Moriaka adjusted his glasses. Because you've shown interest in the Z Media Championship, and because you passed the first round of testing. Julie listened quietly, her gaze calm. She leaned slightly toward Brina beside her, the corners of her lips lifting in a knowing smile. It was no surprise that Brina had come. In her previous life, he became a successful top-tier streamer. Julie's gaze swept over Brina, then landed on the boy standing beside him, Jingwu Xuan. His bright, distinctive personality was captivating. In the future, he would become the #1 gaming streamer. Julie's eyes settled on a girl, Kato Wei. With her outstanding aesthetic sense, under my management, she could easily gain millions of followers. Julie's expression grew firm. I have to get close to them. Her gaze moved past them and landed on another boy, Mosi Tomoya. He, too, will become a popular gaming streamer. But what mattered was this. He was one of Shilio's people. Chairman Moriaka looked serious. There's only 1 month left until the championship. Chairman Moriaka turned to the group. The preliminary task is to create a video. So starting today, Professor Jarrell. The female lecturer pointed toward Jarrell beside her. He will be in charge of intensive training in filming and editing. The goal is that before the championship begins, the air suddenly became breathlessly quiet. Please create videos that are interesting and vivid. With Professor Jarrell, passing the preliminaries won't be difficult. Julie listened silently, her gaze sharpening. But right now, the most important thing is that matter. In the principal's office, an angry shout shattered the silence. You're late. The principal sat behind his desk, leaning forward. I suppressed the opinions of the higher-ups for you, because your father is an old friend of mine. Shilio stood across from him, stubborn-faced. I didn't ask you to do that. I was framed. His eyes were full of resentment. The principal glared at him. Shilio, know your place. Shilio lowered his eyes. Uncle, I can't make up for it. The principal let out a mocking laugh. Make up for it? He gave him a cold look. And how exactly do you plan to do that? Shilio smiled faintly. Fukai Tech has offered to provide equipment to K Academy. The principal's brows twitched. Fukai Tech, leaning back his chair, he said, Director Moriaka has handled the equipment side for years. Why would they suddenly make this offer? Shilio straightened up. Fukai Tech is highly regarded in the industry, but it still lacks name recognition. He continued, K Academy's media department is world-class. Its teaching equipment should lead the times too. Shilio's eyes gleamed. Every company wants to work with us. Fukai Tech is no exception. They want to use K Academy's name to promote their new products. The principal cast him a thoughtful glance. But Shilio cut him off. And uncle, you're also worried that Director Moriaka's power has grown too large, aren't you? The principal's pupils contracted, a bead of sweat sliding down his face. How do you know that? Shilio smiled confidently. If we cooperate with Fukai Tech, Director Moriaka's authority will be weakened too. 2 birds with 1 stone, right? A trace of ridicule crept into his smile. Live streaming is something only third-rate talents do, isn't it? The principal closed his eyes and let out a long breath. Fine, let the people from Fukai Tech come in. Shilio's lips curved slightly. Yes, the door opened. A man in a suit appeared in the doorway. President Komura of Fukai Tech. Komura stepped in, extending his hand to the principal. I look forward to working with you. The principal shook his hand. Shilio watched from side. A pleasant cooperation. Shilio's eyes turned cold. Whether it's Director Moriaka or Julie, I'll never forgive anyone who angers me. A phone suddenly rang. Chairman Moriaka answered, his expression serious. Understood. I'll come at once. Julie watched him hang up and probed cautiously. Professor, is that all for today? Could it be? Chairman Moriaka did not answer her. Instead, he turned to Jarrell. Please come with me to the principal's office. The two left side by side. Julie watched their retreating backs. Just as I thought, Shilio has joined forces with the principal to restore his reputation. She lowered her eyes slightly, but a cold smile touched her lips. Chairman Moriaka turned his head. Professor Jarrell, have you ever used a camera from Fukai Tech? High heels clicked crisply against the floor. Jarrell adjusted his glasses. Not long ago, I saw a footage shot with one of their cameras. Chairman Moriaka stopped walking. Fukai Tech's president is here. Please come meet him with me. Jarrell paused for a moment. All right. Julie remained where she was, watching them walk away. Her heart tightened. Julie's pupils shrank. It really is that incident. The event that devastated K Academy's reputation in my previous life is about to happen. Shulio recommended Fukai Tech to the principal. The principal purchased the newest equipment and completely replaced Director Moriaka's old system. It happened a long time ago. The new equipment was polished and convenient, advertised as something that let anyone shoot at a professional level. Taking advantage of that, the principal gradually hollowed out Director Moriaka's authority. Using K Academy's prestige, Fukai Tech heavily promoted its products. But things developed unexpectedly. The partnership was formed, yet events took an unforeseen turn. At first, everything went smoothly, but soon Fukai Tech's cameras were exposed for quality problems. The camera screen shattered. Fukai Tech was abandoned by both the market and consumers and eventually went bankrupt. K Academy's reputation was dragged down with it. But Fukai Tech retained its core technology and was acquired by Z Media at an extremely low price, planning a comeback. Fukai Tech ultimately became an industry giant, and this acquisition was only the first step in Z Media's rise to dominance. The principal sat at the head of the conference table and announced, "Then starting tomorrow, teachers and students will use Fukai Tech's new cameras for filming." Chairman Moriaka sat at the table and pushed up his glasses. "Is there something wrong with our current equipment? Why replace it?" The principal shot back. "The cameras provided by Chairman Moriaka have been used for a year. Didn't you say the academy needed a new perspective?" Leaning forward, he pressed, "Is there any inconvenience?" Chairman Moriaka's expression darkened, but the principal cut him off sharply. "By order of the principal, bring over the information on the new camera." Shulio responded, "Yes." Shulio stepped to the conference table. "Director, the principal just wants to refresh the atmosphere at the academy." Chairman Moriaka's voice turned icy. "You're not qualified to speak right now." Shulio's face stiffened, sweat beading on his forehead. The principal clasped his hands together, wearing the smile of a victor. "Chairman Moriaka, please take a look at our company's new camera first." Chairman Moriaka spoke. "I know Fukai Tech has a high reputation." The principal smiled falsely. "That's all thanks to pioneers like Moriaka Group." Leaning forward, he said, "Since you also approve of Fukai Tech's products, then we should replace them immediately. There's no need to decide so hastily." Jarrell held the old camera in his hand, his expression resistant. The atmosphere in the meeting room grew tense in an instant. The four sets of eyes clashed in the air and turned toward Jarrell. "Right? Jarrell, 5 days earlier." Jarrell looked at the cake in front of him and said, "You didn't bring cake just to thank me for the party, did you?" Julie admitted it frankly. "That's right. I have a favor to ask. The dress I wore at the party the day before yesterday was made by my mother. We used the Fukai Tech camera I bought before to film the making process." Julie handed over her phone. "Could you give me the footage from that day?" Jarrell took the phone. Her brows drew together slightly. The colors are very strange." Julie looked serious. "Yes, I'm not sure if it's a problem with the Fukai Tech camera, so I wanted to hear your opinion." "Professor." Jarrell studied the screen carefully. "The color can be adjusted in post-production, but for the person filming, this is a serious problem. I heard Fukai Tech will soon release a new model. I'm curious, but our budget is limited. I'm worried the issue still hasn't been solved. Could it be that only Julie's camera has a problem?" Jarrell closed his eyes. "If the camera itself is flawed, then has the new product really improved it? If, as Julie says, the problem still hasn't been solved?" The principal asked Professor Jarrell, "What is it?" Jarrell suddenly stood up. "Principal, I want to test it." Jarrell looked straight ahead. "In my class for 1 month as an experiment." The principal, Chairman Moriaka, and Komura all looked at him at once. "An experiment for 1 month?" Shulio glared at Jarrell. "Why insist on this?" Jarrell stood with his back to the others. "Next month, the students will begin intensive training for the Z Media competition." Komura listened intently. Jarrell continued, "If the students use Fukai Tech's cameras to produce outstanding work," his eyes were steady, "then it will attract enormous attention." Komura clasped his hands together, delighted. "That's a wonderful suggestion." Chairman Moriaka nodded. "Good idea. The students and the academy come first. If Fukai Tech's cameras are truly excellent, then all the equipment I provided should indeed be withdrawn." The principal slapped the table. "Good. It's settled then." Shulio clenched his hands against the table, his knuckles turning white from the force. His body trembled uncontrollably. "Damn it," meddling again. His phone vibrated softly. Julie stood with her arms at her sides and glanced down. It was a message from Professor Jarrell on the screen. "The camera is ready." Professor Jarrell really is reliable. Julie lifted her face, her gaze calm. In the next month, the phone screen went dark, reflecting her cold image. She turned and walked away, her back resolute. I'm going to crush Shulio's scheme completely. Jingwoo Shiwen slumped over the back of a chair and let out a long sigh. I can't believe it. That random scenery video I shot actually blew up. Jingwoo Shiwen faced Jarrell, looking troubled. When I decided to make it, I didn't have any real plan. His fingers tapped the table irritably. Now I have no idea what I'm supposed to film next. A voice interrupted them. Julie stood to one side. Sorry to interrupt, Jingwoo Shiwen. Jarrell and Jingwoo both turned around. Jarrell looked at Julie. Gumin, here's the camera and the USB drive. Footsteps stopped. Julie appeared in the doorway. Thank you for your hard work. Jingwoo smiled and waved. Julie, you worked hard too. Jarrell handed over the USB drive. The color restoration you asked for is finished. Julie took it. Thank you so much. Jarrell reminded her. Check it carefully when you get home. Jarrell held up a camera. And just as you requested, you'll be the first person in the world to use this model. Julie's eyes lit up. I'll capture some great footage. She lifted the camera with both hands, mimicking a filming pose. Then I'll give you a full review report. But Jingwoo's thoughts had drifted elsewhere. That last video, Iceland's Aurora. There's no way I can go back there now. Julie stood alone outside the faculty office, arms folded. Jarrell's urging voice rang out. Hurry back to class. Honestly, Jingwoo cried out in despair. Professor Jarrell. Julie lowered her eyes, her expression turning cold. Who would have thought that the future #1 gaming streamer once went through such a confused period? Sadly, in her previous life, he broke with his agency and disappeared from public view. Julie stood outside the faculty office. Jingwoo turned back in surprise. You're still here? Jingwoo stepped aside. Are you looking for Professor Jarrell? I'm done. Go on in. Julie fixed her gaze on Jingwoo. Actually, I was waiting for you. Jingwoo pointed at himself, puzzled. Me? Julie began. You're handsome, and you're great at socializing. She continued, and you've got a unique charm. You really know how to draw people in. Other people have told you that too, haven't they? Jingwoo's cheeks reddened. He quickly looked away. Oh. Thanks. Julie's voice continued. And your skills in all kinds of games are unbelievably good. She listed his strengths one by one. You use top-tier equipment, but you never show off. You just keep honing your skills. Then Julie's tone shifted, her expression growing serious. So if you're struggling with what kind of content to make, she clasped her hands together and made a solemn suggestion. Why not try making gaming videos? Jingwoo's pupils contracted sharply. Julie looked at him warmly. I'm sure it'll go well. Julie turned away. I'll be going now. Good luck. Jingwoo froze for a moment, then turned and waved. Thank you, Julie. Julie remained where she was, the smile slowly fading from her face. Her gaze was firm. In this life, please make sure you realize your dream. Don't let petty people drag you down again. Julie tightened her grip on the USB drive. And right now, for me, the most important thing is night blanketed the apartment. Julie took out her phone. On the screen was a video of her mother. Today, I'm going to make an outfit for my daughter. In the video, her mother explained gently, this fabric is inexpensive and very soft to the touch. It looks beautiful when it moves. Ironing, cutting, sewing, stitch by stitch, her mother's voice rang out again in the video. Isn't this process just like life? In the video, her mother's voice continued, turning ordinary fabric into a special garment. Her mother's words echoed. Clothes and life are both created by your own hands, aren't they? Under the spotlight, Julie shone on the stage. Her mother looked at the phone, delighted. Julie, 50,000 people have already watched this video. Julie leaned in beside her mother. Everyone's captivated by your skills, Mom. Look at these comments. Professional level craftsmanship. I can't believe this was handmade. Please mass produce these. Her mother looked at the screen. I never imagined everyone would like it this much. Julie smiled. It's true. And look at your follower count. Julie lowered her eyes. A system interface appeared before her. Follower count has exceeded 2,000. Mid-stage reward has been issued. Please claim it. It blew up just as I expected. But I never thought Mom would attract this many followers. In her previous life, Mother always stayed in the shadows, quietly sewing clothes. Julie raised her head. But this time it's different. Just because my mother suffered endless mockery. The mother of a Z Media executive is just an ordinary seamstress. Her daughter is so rich, yet lets her live such a hard life. Sewing was her livelihood, but it was also the life's work she poured her love into. To judge that pure passion with such prejudice was unforgivable. Mom, Julie raised the camera, the corner of her lips lifting, though her eyes were exceptionally firm. She pointed the lens at her mother. Let's keep filming. We need lots of footage. 3 days later, the sunset painted the apartment building red. Julie sat at the desk in her room, reviewing the footage she had shot. I have to test this Fukai camera. The footage taken before the malfunction, its image quality is unquestionably among the best on the market. If not for those defects that had just been exposed, this camera could easily have pushed Fukai Tech to the top of the industry. The camera sat on the desk. Her phone screen glowed with a group chat titled Pre-Shoot Practice. Practice 1. The others should have noticed the malfunction by now, too. Julie lowered her eyes to the phone. Messages from a practice group popped up on the screen. Is everyone else's camera okay? My colors are completely messed up. Same here. Looks like they finally took the bait. Julie sat at the conference table. Regarding Fukai Tech's new cameras, Jarrell's expression was grave. Things are already very clear. Jarrell said during the 3-day trial period, all the cameras showed similar problems. He looked at Julie across from him. From now on, please switch back to the cameras we originally used. Jarrell concluded, if any other issues arise, I'll notify everyone. He picked up the paper bag containing the cameras. All right, that's all for today. Dismissed. Chairs were pushed back quickly as people stood. Julie glanced aside. Mosi Tomoya immediately dialed a number. Where are you right now? I need to talk to you. Julie watched his retreating back. Mosi Tomoya looked worried. Just as expected, the Fukai Tech cameras really had a problem. Just as I thought. He went to report it to Shilio. Brina and Jingwoo Shiwan walked in. Hey, Julie. Julie looked up at them. What's with you two? She examined the intimate way they stood together. In her previous life, they shouldn't have been this close. Brina smiled. Julie, I watched your video. The outfit at the party was made by your mom, right? The video itself was amazing too. Jingwoo looked puzzled. Huh? What video? Julie stepped closer. Really? Brina said, I want to make videos too. Can you give me some advice? Jingwoo leaned in as well. Teach me too. He added, I tried planning out that game video you suggested last time. Julie rested her chin on one hand. She smiled and held out her hand. Sure, let me see. Brina handed over one of his videos. He looked uncertain. Is this angle not very good? Julie examined the video. It's okay, but it will be better shot outdoors. Jingwoo leaned over and turned his phone toward Julie. Julie, I picked a game that's both interesting and motivating. Julie glanced at it. This one's okay, but it's about to get popular. Their discussion quickly became lively. Jingwoo suggested role-playing, and Brina eagerly chimed in. Let's go to the beach. I'll make clothes for you. Julie refused immediately. No thanks. Brina and Jingwoo trapped a helpless-looking Julie between them, one on each side. Wait, a blue stream of data flashed past. A system prompt sounded. New mission uploaded. Chairman Moriaka sat at his desk reviewing documents. Jarrell waited quietly across from him. If Fukai Tech's cameras hadn't had problems, their performance would have been first-rate. Chairman Moriaka set down the report. A few days ago, I had someone investigated. The report should be out soon. Jarrell handed over a file. Regarding that, Miss Julie has a report. Please take a look. Blue light flickered across the file screen, recording the time the malfunctions occurred. Jarrell explained. She said the problem may lie in the lens components. Chairman Moriaka frowned tightly. The lens components? The phone on the table suddenly vibrated, the screen lighting up with a company call. Chairman Moriaka answered. A voice came through the line. The camera report is out. Chairman Moriaka's expression froze instantly. What did you say? The voice on the other end came intermittently. The camera itself is fine. But Chairman Moriaka tightened his grip on the phone. You're saying there's a problem with the lens parts? I understand. His eyes sharpened. That girl is no ordinary person. Inside a cafe, Shilio stirred a hot drink. I originally planned to make a profit off Fukai Tech, then replace Moriaka's company and let him have a taste of failure. But now there's a problem with Fukai Tech's camera. That trial period I hated has actually come in handy. Reflected in the coffee cup was his resolute face. At this point, I have to draw a clear line or they'll drag me down with them. Shilio looked at him. So have you decided? How are you going to explain this mess? Komura clasped his hands nervously. This was an unexpected situation for us too. Komura urgently asked, could you maybe say a few good words to the chairman? Shilio gave a cold laugh. Say a few good words? His smile turned scornful. Didn't you say yours was better than Moriaka Group's? It's trash. Komura immediately protested. No. He continued pleading, our company's camera really is excellent. Please just give us a little more time. Komura tried again. About the investment, Shilio cut him off coldly. You still dare bring that up? My father is not running a charity. Komura lowered his head, cold sweat sliding down. The company is nearly out of money. If the new product has another problem, we're finished. Our partnership with K Academy is our last hope. Shilio interrupted him. That's enough. He stood up abruptly, the chair scraping backward. Most importantly, he looked down at the man. If you want to stay in this industry, withdraw from K Academy immediately. A cold smile tugged at his lips. Otherwise, don't expect to ever set foot in K Academy again, right? Shulio turned away, leaving the man only his merciless back. He glanced over his shoulder lightly. I'd really like to see how much longer President Komura can keep his company alive. With a mocking laugh, Shulio walked off. It was just bad luck. I was so close. Komura lowered his head, fists clenched tightly. I can't accept this. This can't be possible. Crisp footsteps sounded as Shulio left decisively, leaving Komura sitting alone on the terrace. Julie stopped Komura. President Komura. Komura turned around and looked her over. Who are you? Julie met his eyes. My name is Julie. I came to ask your advice. Julie smiled slightly, but I'm not actually the one who wants to talk to you. Komura's gaze moved past her, and his face froze in shock. Chairman Moriaka. Chairman Moriaka stood there, his voice calm. Yes, that's right. The faculty office door opened. Jarrell looked at Julie. Jarrell continued. Are you here to see Chairman Moriaka? Julie nodded slightly. Yes. Inside the office, Julie looked straight at Chairman Moriaka. You investigated the quality of Fukai's cameras, didn't you? She leaned forward slightly. If so, then you should already know that the problem lies with the lens components. Chairman Moriaka's expression stiffened. He could not hide his shock. Chairman Moriaka asked in disbelief, how do you know that? Julie lowered her eyes as memories from her previous life surged up. A news broadcast flickered in her mind, reporting the major defects in Fukai's cameras. That scandal had badly damaged K Academy. There was no way she could have forgotten it. Julie spoke slowly. The old Fukai camera I used before had the same problem too, so I thought this time it might be the same cause. Chairman Moriaka clasped his hands together. I see. So that's it. Julie looked at Chairman Moriaka. We need Chairman Moriaka to invest in Fukai Tech before Z Media does. Fukai's cameras are good products. As long as the funding problem is solved and the parts are replaced, everything can be resolved easily. Chairman Moriaka suddenly understood. So that's why they were so desperate to cooperate with K Academy. Julie's eyes were earnest. For Fukai Tech, this may be their last chance. Chairman Moriaka nodded thoughtfully. Indeed, it would be a shame for it to end like this. Light lit up Julie's eyes. Chairman Moriaka abruptly rose. Let's go. Chairman Moriaka looked down at Julie. Since you've gone this far, come with me to meet President Komura. In the cafe, Chairman Moriaka and Julie appeared. Komura lifted his head in astonishment. Looking at the two of them, he asked in disbelief, you really want to invest in us? And you're willing to provide new parts as well? Chairman Moriaka looked solemn. I sincerely hope to cooperate with Fukai Tech. Folding his hands on the table, he continued, Moriaka Group will procure top-grade components to solve this problem. Komura bowed deeply. Thank you very much. A major company like Moriaka Group is actually willing to work with us and save us in our time of crisis. He covered his face with his hand. Chairman Moriaka looked at Komura. As a representative of Moriaka Group, I want to make one thing clear. We're not extending this help because you, President Komura, have run out of options. He placed both hands on the table. It's because we have seen Fukai Tech's future potential. Chairman Moriaka's expression was stern. Please don't belittle yourself. Continue growing your company. Komura straightened his back. Yes. Chairman Moriaka picked up a paper bag. Inside were several Fukai cameras. After all, I'm a professor too. He handed the paper bag over. I hope you can repair these cameras as quickly as possible. Chairman Moriaka reminded him gently, the students are waiting. Julie added, I'm looking forward to creating good work with Fukai's cameras. Komura nodded vigorously. Yes, I'll deliver the repaired cameras tomorrow. Chairman Moriaka extended his hand. Then I'll be relying on you from now on. Komura gripped it tightly. We absolutely won't let you down. After the handshake ended, Komura suddenly looked nervous. Is there something else? Chairman Moriaka's expression turned serious. There's one more condition. Please keep your cooperation with Moriaka Group confidential for the time being. Meanwhile, Shulio had already left the cafe. Under the sunlight, the academy building gleamed. This was beyond anything I expected too. Shulio looked downcast. I only wanted to repay the uncle who has always taken care of me. I never thought Fukai's cameras would have problems. The principal glared at Shulio. How dare you recommend such a trash company? Shulio lowered his eyes. If I had known the cameras had issues, I never would have recommended them. Sitting before the desk, he added, I've already contacted them to resolve it quickly, and I'm also looking for other outstanding companies. Please allow me to make up for this mistake. The principal clasped his hands. Fortunately, it was only a trial period. If we had signed a formal contract, the losses would have been severe. Shulio looked up, tears in his eyes. Everything I did was for the academy, and for you, uncle. A tear slid down his cheek. Since things have turned out this way, I'm willing to accept any punishment. The principal pulled out a tissue. All right, stop crying. Looking down at him, the principal said, You're still young. Listening to your elders is enough. Shulio pressed the tissue to the corner of his eye. Just as I thought. He raised his tearful eyes. I'll follow your instructions and never make the same mistake again. The principal spoke coldly. We are canceling our cooperation with Fukai Tech. From this moment on, we have nothing to do with them. In the next class, Professor Jarrell stood before the whole room. His voice carried across the classroom. The academy has officially ended its cooperation with Fukai Tech. However, today Fukai delivered some cameras. Jarrell smiled professionally. They offered them as donations for students training for the competition. His finger pointed at the stack of camera boxes. Whether you use them or not is up to you. Julie watched, a faint smile passing over her lips. That smile was the smile of someone who could see through the hidden calculations beneath another's kindness. Julie suddenly stood up. Professor Jarrell, I want one. Mosi Tomoya rose as well, with a hint of mockery. He snorted softly, wanting a camera that already caused trouble, very fitting for a poor student. A cold blue light flashed before Julie, and a memory from her previous life surfaced. Those words had been hurled at her countless times. Her eyes sharpened, pain solidifying into resolve. Julie's gaze was firm. I won't endure it anymore. The cameras have already been repaired. What's the problem with using them? Brina raised a camera box. I'm going to use this to shoot my competition video. What needs fixing is your mouth. Mosi Tomoya glared angrily. What did you say? Want to get hit? Jarrell stopped them sharply. Enough. Mosi Tomoya's voice was full of provocation. First insults, and now you want to fight too? Jingwoo Shiwan stepped in front. Looking down at Mosi Tomoya, he said coldly, If you dare touch anyone, I'll personally throw you out of this classroom. Mosi Tomoya picked up another camera. By the way, I'm using this camera too. Julie quietly watched the scene. I returned from the future, yet I'm actually being protected by these two people. Julie placed a hand on Jingwoo Shiwan's and Brina's shoulders. Thank you. The three stood side by side. Jingwoo warned Mosi Tomoya, watch your mouth from now on. They stood firm. With his back to them, Mosi Tomoya said nothing. Silence settled over the classroom. Kato Wei let out a light snort, a trace of disdain at the corners of his lips. He turned and walked away. Julie and the others watched his back in silence. Kato Wei walked straight to the podium. He picked up a camera box. I want one too. Jarrell nodded in tacit approval. Go ahead. Julie stood in the sunlight. Even Kato Wei is willing to lend me a hand. This time, I'm not alone. The competition submission date was set for next Wednesday. Bathed in sunlight, the campus gleamed. In front of the fountain, Brina danced within the frame. Julie adjusted the camera. Looks good. Julie lowered the camera, finally finished shooting. Brina walked over with a smile. Let's watch it together. The two sat side by side on a bench. Brina leaned closer to the screen. The lighting and the movements are amazing. I'll go back, edit it, and upload it. Thank you so much. Julie set down the camera, looking focused. It's too early to thank me. We need to check it again. Brina clung to her playfully. Give me a break. Julie remained unmoved. No, a voice spoke up. Let him rest a bit. Jingwoo Shiwan handed over a coat and a coffee. Smiling, he explained, I wanted to hear Julie's advice, so she had me bring Brina's coat. Julie accepted the coffee. Thanks. Then she frowned. Don't interrupt, Jingwoo Shiwan. Jingwoo shook his head helplessly. Julie really is such a troublesome person. Then his tone changed, and he proudly raised his own camera. But I'm different. I already shot mine perfectly. Brina crossed his arms. Then why are you here? Exactly. Julie nodded in agreement. In the end, the three sat down on the bench. Jingwoo kept talking nonstop. Look at my video too. Julie closed her eyes. These kids, Jingwoo Shiwan and Brina, stood beside her. With a smile, one of them patted his chest. Don't worry, leave those two to me. Julie lifted the camera. Beneath the brilliant starry sky, her figure blended into the sea of city lights. At the same time, a major event shook the video industry. Fukai Tech released its new camera. precise, and convenient. Everyone can be a professional photographer. 1 week after being abandoned by K Academy, Fukai cameras burst onto the scene. Sales charts shot straight upward, quickly taking first place. Exactly like in my previous life, Julie's gaze was calm, but this time, that fatal problem never appeared. At this moment, the path of history quietly shifted. On the screen, a Fukai representative spoke eloquently. The image quality of Fukai cameras is beyond question. The company rose like a comet, becoming a shining star of hope. Julie quietly watched her phone. A Fukai advertisement played on the screen. A hand typed out a recommendation. I guarantee it. It's absolutely trustworthy. You won't regret it. The message was sent. A phone buzzed on a desk. That person must be unable to sit still now. In the office, the principal roared. Wasn't Fukai already finished? He rushed at Shulio. What the hell is going on? Shulio spoke with a tremor in his voice. But there really was a problem at the time. The principal cut him off. Don't make excuses. He glared furiously. Because of you, we missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Shulio's face turned deathly pale. Once the principal let go, how could the application still go through when the funding situation was clearly so tight? If I don't get rid of Chairman Moriaka's equipment, I'll never be able to control the academy. You've truly disappointed me. Shulio lowered his head. Shadows covered his face, and a flash of resentment flickered in his eyes. Ridiculous. I wasn't the one who suggested we work together in the first place. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. An assistant stood at the entrance and reported, Principal, President Komura, and Chairman Moriaka are here to see you. The principal looked down at Shulio. His voice was cold. I'm giving you one last chance. He ordered him to restore the cooperation with Fukai Tech. The conference room door was pushed open. President Komura, we've been waiting for you. Shulio walked forward with a smile, but his pupils suddenly shrank. What? Why is this woman here? Julie, sitting at the conference table, raised her head, her eyes meeting Shulio's. He quickly suppressed his surprise. Forget it. Right now, cooperation with Fukai Tech comes first. Another executive in a suit stood up, his gaze falling on Shulio. Miss Manda. Shulio turned to President Komura and forced a smile onto his face. I heard your new product has been a huge success. I've been keeping a close eye on Fukai. But President Komura lowered his gaze. I'm not here to talk to you today. He looked down, absently tracing the edge of the table with his finger, his voice very low. The conference room fell silent. The others subtly stepped back. The light seemed to flow coldly through the air. He was silent for half a second, his lips moving slightly, but he still didn't speak. Shulio fixed his eyes on him, his expression turning panicked. I'm here to speak with the PRI. Shulio suddenly sucked in a sharp breath. The principal beside him remained expressionless. Fukai Tech is unstoppable now. He looked at President Komura across from him. If you cooperate with our world-renowned academy, I'm sure we can build a win-win relationship. President Komura spoke calmly. Julie stood behind him without saying a word. The reason I came today is to renew our cooperative relationship. The principal's eyes lit up. Then President Komura changed tone. However, he looked directly at the principal. I believe the terms of cooperation need to be revised. The principal frowned. More negotiations over the terms? A dark look flashed through his eyes. As long as I drive out Chairman Moriaka, K Academy will belong to me alone. President Komura replied loudly, of course. Shulio shot him a look from the side. Don't get ahead of yourself. President Komura looked at Julie. Miss Julie, please hand the contract to the principal. Julie picked up the folder and walked toward Shulio. What exactly is this woman trying to do? Is she really here for Fukai Tech? Shulio watched her coldly. The documents landed on the table. I see. As soon as the cameras are on her, she starts acting. Then, the principal took a look, and his expression changed drastically. In the Academy Ambassador Clause, they had added new conditions. At opposite ends of the table, the principal and President Komura signed the agreement at the same time, while Shulio and Julie stood off to one side. A faint smile lifted the corners of Julie's lips. With this, neither Fukai Tech nor K Academy would face another crisis. President Komura reached out and shook the principal's hand firmly. Happy cooperation. Our cooperation over the next 3 years will definitely create a win-win outcome. Chairman Moriaka stood to the side smiling. I think so too. The principal continued. Could you deliver the equipment tomorrow? He pointed to the documents on the table. As for Chairman Moriaka's arrangements, Chairman Moriaka nodded to show he understood. Then he turned and gave instructions. We will arrange for the equipment to be replaced. The principal responded, very good. President Komura smiled and added, there's also one more piece of good news. Would you like to hear it? The principal looked puzzled. President Komura revealed a meaningful smile. Then he calmly dropped a bombshell. 3 weeks ago, Fukai Tech entered into a cooperative relationship with the Moriyaka group. Shulio was struck as if by lightning, his face instantly turning white. The principal flew into a rage. What did you say? Julie looked at Chairman Moriyaka beside her. After all, Chairman Moriyaka is also a board member of K Academy. President Komura remained calm. That way, our relationship with K Academy becomes even closer, doesn't it? The principal forced out a single word. Yes. Shulio's mind raced. The Moriyaka group funded Fukai. 3 weeks ago, that was when the surveillance camera malfunctioned. Shulio felt ice cold all over. Could everything have been planned from the start? The principal glared at him. Watch what you say. The air froze instantly. Sweat seeped out on the back of Shulio's hand. The next word stuck on his tongue. He bit his lip hard. But President Komura walked to the table. The entire room instantly fell silent. He looked around at everyone. Now that everyone is here, I have something to announce. Regarding the additional clause in the contract, the duties of the Academy Ambassador. We hope the students will help promote the Fukai camera. President Komura turned his gaze toward Julie. Miss Julie, could you introduce yourself again? Chairman Moriyaka smiled and gestured for her to proceed. Shulio's expression darkened. Julie calmly faced the crowd. I am Julie, the new Academy Ambassador. Twilight shrouded the city. The C Media building towered high, its glass walls reflecting the setting sun. Inside the office, Yudao Rishiang stood before Henry Austin's desk. Since Julie became the Academy Promotional Ambassador, both the Academy and Fukai Tech have become incredibly famous. They're closing in on us at C Media, Henry Austin confirmed. Yes, and they're far ahead of second place. Yudao Rishiang pointed to the laptop screen, which displayed the real-time rankings of the star selection competition. Julie has become famous in one stroke because of it. Voting only just started, and she's already in first place. Henry Austin studied the screen. In a low voice, he repeated first place. Yudao Rishiang continued his report. Thanks to Chairman Moriyaka and Julie, this talent competition has drawn far more attention than expected. C Media's rising star selection is already the top trending topic. His expression was serious as he analyzed the situation. For the past 10 years, K Academy has always been the center of attention in the idol world. Its momentum has even surpassed Z1 Academy. Henry Austin leaned back in his chair, his fingers tapping rhythmically on the desk. Popularity isn't a bad thing. Henry Austin cut him off. Rishiang. Yudao Rishiang stiffened and looked at him. After the first round of voting ends, go meet Assistant Principal Tung of K Academy. He looked out the window, and over the past few years, C Media has been providing K Academy with funding every year. Henry Austin turned his face slightly. The gaze behind his glasses was unfathomable. A cold smile curled at his lips. But how long can he keep it hidden? Henry Austin clasped his hands together and examined Yudao Rishiang. Send someone to monitor his every move. Yudao Rishiang lowered his eyes. In a low voice, he answered understood. Julie stared at the computer screen. Her follower count had just broken 100,000. I did it. 1 week earlier, on the day K Academy signed with Fukai Tech, inside the principal's office. Julie sat waiting on the floor. She looked up. Principal Tung? Chairman Moriyaka adjusted his glasses. Yes, but before that, President Komura has something to say to you. President Komura continued. We're looking for a student to promote the Fengxia camera on campus. He turned to Julie. I recommended you, Miss Julie. Are you willing? Julie lowered her eyes. This hadn't happened in her previous life. Interesting, and it was a great chance to gain more followers. Julie looked up and replied with a smile, of course. I'd be happy to. Her phone screen lit up and a new message popped up. Julie looked at it. Another message appeared. We'd like to interview you tomorrow about becoming K Academy's promotional ambassador and about the C Media star selection. The moment she became the Academy ambassador, attention came pouring in. Since the competition started this morning, her follower count had been skyrocketing. C Media star selection, round 1. Countdown, 9 days, 23 hours. Entering the competition had brought a whole new wave of attention. A line of text appeared on the screen. You have not yet claimed your mid-stage rewards. Mid-stage rewards? Julie lightly tapped the claim button. The reward list unfolded. First video reaches 2,000 followers. Reward 200,000. Total followers reach 10,000. Reward 400,000. Total followers reach 100,000. Reward 1 million. Julie's eyes widened slightly. There was even a cash reward. That made perfect sense. If she wanted to fight her uncle, she would need a huge amount of money. Julie's profile was grim, and right now, the situation was this. Julie looked at the live rankings. Her name sat firmly at the top. Julie. The competition had begun at 10 in the morning. Each participant uploaded their own video. 10 days later, the top 20 in popularity would advance. On the surface, it was an individual competition, but in fact there was also an academy prize. If every participating student from the same academy passed the first round, the school would receive 4 million yen. Julie's gaze sharpened, but then she opened one contestant's profile. Mosi Tomoya, K Academy. Video not yet uploaded. If Mosi doesn't upload his video, we won't get the prize money. A prompt popped up on the screen. New task triggered. All K Academy students must pass the first round. Complete the mission to receive an extra reward and attract even more followers. Julie's eyes darkened. Since the system said so, she made up her mind. Then I'll make sure everyone at K Academy passes the first round. In a dark room, Mosi Tomoya sat in front of his computer. His phone chimed. Mosi Tomoya let out a chuckle. With a light tap of his thumb, he sent Julie a message. Can we meet tomorrow at lunchtime? A poor girl like Julie must really want that prize money. If I don't upload the video, just like Shulio said, she must be panicking right now. Night draped over the city, and lights came on in the apartment windows. A phone notification broke the silence. Julie looked at the new message and frowned. She sighed softly. Seriously. Julie looked at the message from Mosi. Let's meet tomorrow at lunch. Her fingers tapped the screen. Want me to help you upload your video? Then kneel and beg first. He was acting so arrogant now because he was preparing for another competition. Students at K Academy had to participate in official competitions and earn credits in order to graduate. Golden trophies filled the shelves. Julie remembered that in her previous life, the WKV editing competition Mosi had wanted to enter had ultimately been postponed. A news broadcast flashed through her mind. C Media's talent show wasn't officially recognized by the Academy then, but that was only in her previous life. Julie's lips curved slightly, a cold smile flickering across them. Holding her phone, she thought, he has no idea what he's going to face tomorrow. Inside the office, Chairman Moriaka pushed a thick envelope across the desk. Please take this. He looked calmly at Julie. Thanks to you, I realized something I should have understood long ago. After discussing it with the other professors this morning, we reached a unanimous decision. Julie listened and pulled out a thin sheet of paper from the envelope. She bowed deeply. Thank you very much. Chairman Moriaka folded his hands on the desk and smiled with relief. The official announcement will be tomorrow. You can tell the other students first. Julie held the document tightly to her chest, her eyes firm. I was planning to do exactly that. Sunlight spilled over the Grand School building. Julie turned to leave. I'll take my leave now. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows. Mosi Tomoya stared at his phone. In his chat with Julie, the mocking message he had just sent was overwritten by a new one. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., by the fountain outside the lecture hall. Don't be late. Damn you, Julie. On the campus paths, students walked in small groups. One male student asked, "Did you watch yesterday's C Media competition?" His friend immediately answered, "Of course. It's insanely popular right now." Mosi Tomoya walked along, hearing discussion everywhere. What are they blabbering about all day? Then he overheard another group. Shuri's video. Fukai's camera. The C Media competition. So many videos. A passing student sighed. I should have joined too. Mosi Tomoya's face darkened. Why is everyone talking about Julie and C Media? Two female students stopped in their tracks. One looked at her phone and cried out, YDTV is interviewing Shuri in front of the lecture hall. Her friend leaned in. Seriously? Send me the link. Mosi Tomoya halted. An interview? YD was a nationwide TV station. Why her? A cold smile tugged at his lips as he pulled out his phone and opened the link. His smile froze instantly. Are you kidding me? Even the news is covering the C Media competition. The phone screen lit up. In a live broadcast, Julie was speaking calmly into the reporter's microphone. Above it was the mark indicating a nationwide live broadcast. The fountain surged in front of the magnificent school building. Under the harsh sunlight, Mosi Tomoya walked forward irritably. What the hell is going on? Looking at the crowd gathered ahead, he thought, did Julie predict that the C Media competition would explode like this? Mosi Tomoya stopped. He was completely hemmed in by the crowd. In the center, A female reporter held a microphone out to Julie. Julian said calmly, "No, I just thought it was interesting. I never expected it to attract this much attention." Watching this, Mosi Tomoya thought I was mocking it as some no-name competition, and now it's so huge even YDTV is covering it. A smile rose at the corner of his mouth. "If that's the case, then I'll join too. I'll make a name for myself." Julie continued speaking to the camera. "For people from K Academy have already uploaded their videos. There's still one person left." The reporter immediately asked if any other student wants to join. "We can interview them on the spot." Mosi Tomoya's eyes sharpened. As if I'd let that happen. He pushed toward the center of the crowd and shouted, "Wait, I'm the one who's joining the competition." The reporter smiled. "So that means..." She moved the microphone closer. "What exactly do you mean?" Mosi Tomoya turned his face slightly. "In other words, I'm the last person who hasn't uploaded a video yet." Then he looked toward the camera, smiling confidently. "I have no intention of missing this opportunity. So if anyone else wants to join, give up." Julie looked at him quietly. "You haven't uploaded your video all this time. Is there something you're worried about?" Mosi Tomoya grinned. "Yeah." He spread his arms toward the crowd. "I'll be uploading my video very soon, so stay tuned." Disappointed murmurs rose from the crowd. "I wanted to join too. Maybe I could have become famous." The phone screen lit up. A message from Shulio appeared. "Are you really planning to enter that competition? It's impossible to replace a contestant halfway through. All you did was say on camera in front of Julie that you were getting on board. You idiot." Mosi Tomoya gripped the phone, his face darkening. "Damn it, Shulio's right." I walked straight into Julie's trap. Standing at the bottom of the stairs, he watched Julie slowly come down. "Julie, you came." Julie stopped in front of him. "There were too many people outside, so I changed the location." With his hands in his pockets, Mosi Tomoya let out a cold laugh. "It's too early for you to feel smug. I know exactly what you're thinking." He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "I'll upload the video, but before the preliminaries end, I'll delete it and leave you in complete despair." Mosi Tomoya continued, "Don't even dream of getting a single yen of that prize money. Besides, the Academy never approved this competition." Spreading his arms with a disdainful look, he added, "The one I'm entering is the Wave editing competition, a competition far beyond your reach." Julie looked at him. "Upload it and then delete it?" A faint, unreadable smile appeared at the corner of her lips. "Didn't you read the emergency notice from the Wave editing competition?" Mosi Tomoya's smile stiffened. "Emergency notice? What is that?" He immediately pulled out his phone. On the screen was a glaring headline. "This year's Wave editing competition has been canceled." Mosi Tomoya stared in disbelief. "What did you say?" His voice was hoarse. "I'm graduating next year. This was my last chance." Time rewound to that morning. Julie held the Academy's official approval document in her hand. The C Media competition had been formally approved and could be used to earn credits. The color instantly drained from Mosi Tomoya's face. "What?" Julie stated calmly. "But if you want to earn credits through the competition, you must first pass the preliminary round." She looked at him quietly. Mosi Tomoya's arrogance completely shattered. "I'm sorry. I said I'd delete the video. Please help me." Mosi Tomoya pressed his palms together, his voice trembling. "As long as I can get the credits from the competition, you can have the preliminary prize money. Every bit of the prize money after that, too." Julie let out a soft sigh. Unbelievable. He was like a completely different person from the arrogant one just now. Cold sweat streamed down Mosi Tomoya's face, his eyes full of pleading. Julie looked down at him. "Didn't you say in the chat yesterday, why don't you kneel and beg me first?" 9 days later, on the final day of the Z-Star selection preliminaries, the championship camera video had already attracted massive attention. Julie stopped walking. This is it. The camera recorded her mother's daily life. She worked at her desk, showing off a new outfit. On TV, they were still promoting the Fengsha handheld camera. The headline scrolled across the screen. Everyone is filming their own work. The camera turned labor into visual art. The camera promotion had made her mother famous. "That's amazing, Mom. So many people know you now." Her mother proudly held Julie's hands. "Hee hee. Who do you think I am?" Julie's competition video also passed the preliminaries with overwhelming advantage. All the participants from K Academy made it into the top 20. For people destined to become famous in the future, this was no challenge at all. Julie raised her phone. The screen showed that she had ranked first in the preliminaries. "Thanks to you, Mom." There was a smile in her voice. "I was able to pass in first place." Her mother smiled gently. "I knew you could do it, Julie." Then her mother also took out her own phone. Supportive comments filled the screen. "Everyone is cheering you on." The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Julie looked at her mother. Mom, you should make an account too. That way, even more people will pay attention to you. Her mother lowered her eyes. Is it really necessary for other people to know about me? Her smile looked a little tired. Julie hesitated for a moment. I need Mom to become famous. If her popularity rises, Uncle will have a much harder time interfering with her. Leaning closer, Julie smiled gently. Being liked by people is a happy thing, right? I'll help you. Her mother softly patted Julie's hand. I used to worry that you'd be bullied at the academy, but you've really changed a lot. Sitting on the sofa, their hands clasped together, Julie looked a little surprised. Really? Her mother smiled with relief. You're working harder than before, and you're much better at expressing yourself now. That makes me very happy. Julie felt her eyes grow hot. Mom, she gazed at her mother with absolute determination. I will make you happy no matter what. At the same time, in the meeting room of Yuga Academy, sunlight lit up the building's glass walls. Yudao Rishiang looked at Principal Tung of Yuga Academy. So you're saying President Henry Austin wants to sign the 3 students from our school who passed the preliminaries? Yudao Rishiang answered, President Henry Austin intends to make sure he signs those who will become famous after the competition. Yudao Rishiang's eyes were sharp, because among all the contestants, the academy he trusts most is yours. Don't tell me. A smile lifted Yudao Rishiang's lips. You think he doesn't trust me? Principal Peng looked flustered and hurriedly waved his hands. No, absolutely not. That's not it at all. He tried to explain, it's just that Yuga's media department is still developing. It can't compare with K Academy. Principal Tung continued, besides, the preliminaries' first-place winner is Julie from K Academy. Why not go to them? Yudao Rishiang rose to his feet, turning his back to Principal Tung. I'm only here to pass on a message. The one who decides whom to cooperate with is President Henry Austin. He took a step and then stopped. However, if this matter gets leaked, it'll be troublesome later. Yudao Rishiang's voice was calm. Don't worry. As for that, I've heard measures have already been taken. Principal Peng showed a sly smile. If that's the case, then don't hold back. Leaning back in his chair, Principal Peng said, since you're taking a risk for our company, then on C Media's side as well. Yudao Rishiang cut in coolly. The annual investment we provide can also be reconsidered. Principal Peng lowered his head. Understood. He picked up the phone. Hello. Call in the 3 students who advanced to the semifinals. He emphasized into the receiver. Yes. Right away. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. The 3 students stopped at the door. The female representative of the 3 asked, You were looking for us? Julie lay on the bed in a silent room. A holographic projection unfolded before her eyes. Congratulations. All K Academy participants have passed the first round. Please accept your reward. So this was the practical reward mentioned earlier. Julie sat up. A new interface popped up. You may assign points to skills such as intelligence, strength, or singing ability. It was very similar to the reward she had received before the party. She allocated the points to her singing skill. The progress bar on the screen shot from 2 to 10 and instantly maxed out. A smile touched Julie's lips. I may not be a perfect idol, but my luck isn't bad. Then her expression turned serious. The semifinal in a week would be difficult. Memories from her previous life flashed back. The champion had been a student from Yuga Academy. A young man held the trophy high with a flamboyant smile. 3 of the final 5 contestants had come from Yuga. That was no coincidence. Uncle must have tampered with things. The Z star selection was nothing more than a competition her uncle created to control his own pieces. Julie looked up at the Z Media building. Night swallowed the glass curtain walls. Just as Uncle had planned, the 3 from Yuga Academy entered the finals and became Z Media's trump cards. I know those 3. Her memory returned to the past. When I first joined Z Media, I was still an unknown manager. They ordered me around and verbally humiliated me as if it were nothing. Every proposal I wrote for others was stolen by them in full. In front of the camera, they wore charming smiles. Behind it, they were villains wrapped in lies, just like my uncle. Julie lowered her head. Countless shadows seemed to surround her. Then she raised it again, her eyes cold and resolute. I will collect every debt from my previous life, one by one. And I have to stop Uncle's scheme. Chairman Morioka pushed a document across the table. The notice for the finals has arrived. Take a look. Julie's expression stilled. Chairman Morioka continued. This time it will be a live battle format, so I'll need you to explain it to the other students. Julie took the file and quietly confirmed. A 1-minute speed explanation? Chairman Morioka smiled. I'll leave it to you. Thank you very much. Julie stood up, her eyes firm. I'll do my best. Inside the lecture hall, Julie stood at the podium facing the students. These are the rules for the next stage of the Z-Star selection finals. Julie lowered her eyes. Chairman Moriyaka asked me to share some live streaming techniques with everyone. A gasp came from the crowd. A live battle was unusual, but made sense. Mosi Tomoya folded his arms. How stupid. Julie closed her eyes. In her previous life, the selection competition hadn't been this intense at the beginning. Her thoughts spun. It was precisely because of that sensational livestream battle that her popularity had exploded. Countless devices intertwined within the data network. In round one, each account only had one vote. Layers of pyramid-like virtual icons stacked on top of each other. But in the finals, fans could vote endlessly through donations. In the end, it became nothing more than a pay-to-win game. Two standby contestants would each display their specialty one-on-one. Time limit, 15 minutes. The winner would be determined by support rate. The winner advanced to the finals. The longer the stream lasted and the more interaction there was with the audience, the higher the support rate climbed. On the surface, it looked fair, but the students from Yuga Academy were given an extra minute. In that duel, where lives and futures were on the line, their opponents shrank back under the pressure, while Miju turned the tide under tension and won. That was how Yuga Academy achieved total victory in her previous life and gained tens of millions of followers. This time, I must reverse the outcome. Julie continued explaining, no matter what your content is, you have to hook the audience from the very start. For example, make an unexpected entrance. Several students' expressions sharpened, their eyes turning keen. Mosi Tomoya gave a sneering laugh. But the most important thing is sincerity? He looked down at the podium. Poor people really love spewing nonsense about hard work and sincerity. An angry shout erupted from the crowd. What did you just say? Don't be so rude. Brina and Jingwu Shiwan both rose furiously. Julie lifted a hand to stop them. I'm Fine. Brina and Jingwu Shiwan sat back down reluctantly. I get it. Mosi Tomoya turned and started up the steps, then stopped again. Looking at Julie, he said, a few days ago, I only lowered my head for the sake of getting a slot in the competition. Anyway, I'll win easily. Julie looked up, her gaze sharpening. Oh, and then? Mosi Tomoya gave a contemptuous smile. There are plenty of ways to win a live stream battle. Looking down at Julie, he said, only poor people would believe the crap you were just talking about. Julie's gaze darkened. He wants to crush people with money. The mobile voting interface flashed through her mind, labeled with its so-called fairness. Even though Uncle would manipulate things from behind the scenes, a cold smile curved her lips. In her previous life, anyone who tried to solve everything with money ended up losing the right to use paid votes. Julie met Mosi Tomoya's eyes. Then I'll be looking forward to it. Mosi Tomoya froze, utterly confused. What kind of reaction is that? Julie warned him softly. When the live stream battle begins, you can't hesitate like you just did. Mosi Tomoya's pupils contracted. Brina and Jingwu Shiwan stepped in front of Julie, staring at him coldly. Do you still want to start something? Please leave. Angry voices rose from the crowd. Get lost already. Mosi Tomoya's face sank. You. He turned away in fury, pointing at everyone. Just you wait. Julie looked at her friends, a faint smile lifting her lips. To be honest, the three of them. She turned to face the group. There are still tens of thousands of people ranked above you. Your goal is to enter the top 20. Gaining followers is important. But Julie's eyes shifted to Kato Wei. I have something I want to say to each of you. Kato Wei raised his head in surprise. HM? A memory from her previous life flashed by. Kato Wei had become a hugely popular fashion blogger. With his styling series designed for everyday people, his followers had climbed into the millions. Julie looked at Kato Wei. You could try styling outfits for audience members on site on the day of the event. Kato Wei's pupils widened. What? I've actually thought of that too, but I could never make up my mind. Why would Julie have the same idea? Kato Wei steadied his emotions. Thank you. I'll think about it. Julie smiled and nodded. Good. Julie turned to Brina. Brina, why not add Chinese-style elements to your costume? Try traditional Chinese clothing. Brina looked stunned. Traditional Chinese clothing? Julie took her hand. That's right. It perfectly matches your dance style. In her previous life, this was exactly what had made Brina famous in one stroke. Julie's thoughts drifted toward the future. Brina, dressed in a modernized chi-pao, blending fan dance with a contemporary style, would rise to the top on the strength of that originality. Brina's eyes lit up. That's amazing. How did you think of that? Julie smiled faintly. Because it suits you best, and you can absolutely pull it off. Julie turned to Jingwu Shiyuan. As for you, do you want to try live streaming while playing Haiyu Island? Jingwu Shiyuan pointed at himself. Me? In her previous life, that was exactly how he had shot to fame on live streams. Confident and charming, his humorous way of speaking had also played a huge role. Julie suggested, talk more, show your witty side. People will definitely love it. Jingwu Shiyuan clenched his fist. Got it. Julie smiled confidently. In the future, all of you will gain countless followers through your talent. I'm only introducing that charm to the audience ahead of time. This time we